Have you ever seen a moment so powerful that it silences an entire room? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear is one of those stories, a story of a father's sacrifice, two little girls mocked for their poverty, and how their voices stunned everyone who doubted them. Before I take you on this journey, make sure you like this video and subscribe to Black Voices, because stories like this one deserve to be shared with the world. It all began in a small town where life seemed to run faster for some people and much slower for others. Daniel was a single father, and life hadn't been kind to him. His wife had passed away when his twin girls, Maya and Leah, were just 2 years old. Since then, Daniel had carried the weight of both parents on his shoulders, working day and night, often skipping meals so that his daughters could have theirs. He was a mechanic by trade, his hands always stained with grease, his back bent from long hours under broken cars, but his heart was filled with nothing but love for his girls. Maya and Leah, now 10 years old, were inseparable. Identical twins with bright eyes and shy smiles, they were each other's best friend. But they also carried the burden of poverty. Their clothes were old and patched, their shoes too small, and their lunches often just bread. At school, children whispered behind their backs, laughed at their hand-me-downs, and mocked their silence. But what most people didn't know was that Maya and Leah had a gift. When they sang together, their voices blended like the strings of a perfect instrument, pure and hauntingly beautiful. One day, their teacher announced that the school would hold a small talent showcase. It was meant to be fun, but for Maya and Leah, it was an opportunity they feared. When a group of mischievous classmates heard about the showcase, they whispered and giggled, pointing at the twins. "Why don't you two sing?" One boy mocked. "Yeah," another added, "everyone needs a good laugh." The laughter stung, but the challenge stuck. At home that evening, Maya and Leah sat quietly at the kitchen table as their father fixed them soup made from scraps. They hesitated before telling him what had happened, afraid he'd be upset. But Daniel listened carefully. He didn't see their classmates' cruelty as humiliation, he saw it as a chance. "You know what?" he said softly, wiping his rough hands on a towel. "Sometimes people laugh because they don't know your worth. You have a gift, girls. Don't hide it. Show them who you really are." The twins looked at each other uncertainly. Could they really do it? Their voices were private, sacred, something they only shared at home with their father. Singing in front of their classmates felt terrifying. But Daniel encouraged them every night, listening, guiding, and clapping after every note. He worked extra shifts to buy them a simple matching dress each, nothing fancy, but enough to make them feel special on the big day. When the day of the showcase came, the auditorium was buzzing with excitement. Kids performed jokes, magic tricks, and dances. When the twins' names were called, a wave of laughter rippled through the crowd. Whispers spread like wildfire. "This will be funny," one student chuckled. The twins stepped onto the stage, nervous, clutching each other's hands. From the back of the room, Daniel stood tall, his heart pounding as he whispered a prayer for courage. At first, the microphone squeaked and the laughter grew louder. Maya's lips trembled, Leah's eyes filled with tears. For a second, it seemed like they might run. But then they remembered their father's words, "Show them who you really are." They took a deep breath, closed their eyes, and began to sing. The first note floated into the air like a whisper of wind. The second followed, stronger. And then, their voices intertwined, rising and falling together in perfect harmony. The laughter stopped instantly. The auditorium fell silent. Their classmates, teachers, even the principal sat frozen, captivated by the purity of their sound. The girls sang with every ounce of their hearts, their voices carrying not just notes, but stories of struggle, loss, and love. It wasn't just music, it was their truth. By the time they finished, you could hear a pin drop. Then, the silence broke into thunderous applause. Some kids even stood, clapping and cheering, their faces red with shame for ever mocking the twins. Teachers had tears in their eyes. And at the back of the room, Daniel stood taller than he ever had before, his calloused hands clapping, his eyes shining with pride. His daughters weren't just poor twin girls anymore, they were stars, and everyone in that room knew it. After that day, Maya and Leah were never teased again. Instead, they were invited to sing at school events, church gatherings, and even local festivals. Their voices brought people together, reminding them that greatness can rise from the humblest places. And Daniel, though still working long hours, walked with a lighter step. He knew that his sacrifices were building something far greater than he ever imagined. This story reminds us of something powerful, that we should never underestimate anyone based on where they come from or what they wear. Sometimes, the most extraordinary gifts are hidden in the most ordinary lives. So, if you felt even a little moved by Maya and Leah's story, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Black Voices. Because every story we share carries a message of hope, strength, and the power of love. And remember, sometimes, the voices that silence a room are the ones no one believed in at all.